do believe in like capitalism and other things, but ultimately I'm pretty open-minded. So anyway, that's a brief narrative sketch. I hope it didn't take too long.
No, that was perfect. So I guess I think it makes sense to go over some like the recent drama, quote unquote. So I know these questions are going to come up. We have a lot of crossover with like Destiny's community, for example. He's been on the server a bunch. We've known him for a year. So one of the first questions that came in was from Data. Data, you're unmuted. Go for it.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my quick question is, I think about a month ago, I was on Destiny's, I was watching Destiny's stream, you went on there, and, it seemed like you completely kind of nuked that bridge with Destiny, and Destiny nuked that bridge with you. Do you feel like you reacted too viscerally at the time, too emotionally? Because from my perspective, Destiny was just covering the news. He wasn't giving his opinion on the, what people thought was a rug pull at the time. So do you feel like you were too defensive going into that? And do you regret doing that too, or no?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, Destiny isn't somebody I've ever met. I don't know a whole lot about him. He kind of showed up like almost immediately after I got out of prison, like the first day that I started streaming. He hit me up to like do a Google call, and then he didn't tell me. I was like, yeah, sure, dude, whatever. And he didn't tell me that he was streaming that call to everybody, to his followers. And I'm like, wow, that's really sneaky. He just kind of strikes me, and again, I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but like the couple of times that I have talked to him, like he just kind of strikes me as somebody who's like very aggressive in sort of getting viewers, keeping viewers, doing anything to sort of do that and serve like his own interests, which I think is, he was clearly disingenuous about, the sort of hack that I went through. And it really hurt me that somebody that had interviewed me a bunch of times, including times where I didn't exactly even agree to the interview. Like I've given this guy content for free. And we seem to have had a good relationship. Like the first stream we had a pretty good vibe. And like this guy just kind of like, instead of like potentially coming to my rescue, right? That's what a friend would do. It's like, hey, I know Martin. I talked to him. I've seen the evidence. He's right. That would have been nice. But instead, the guy kind of like, you don't do that to somebody. I expect somebody who doesn't know you, like somebody on CNN or Bloomberg, for instance, they said, oh, Shkreli's token appears to have sold off and it appears this and that. Okay, cool. They're Bloomberg. That's their job. Destiny's not a fucking news reporter. He's not a, he's supposed to be my friend to some extent, right? We've exchanged a lot of pleasantries. So for him to sort of just do that, and he also has access to me, right? He has immediate access to me. Anytime he wants to ask me a question, he can ask me a question. So I was just hurt. I guess I thought our relationship was something that it wasn't, and it's cool that, that's the way he wants to treat it, but I'd say, whatever. I think that in terms of the way I acted, so like I couldn't care less about him or what he does from here on out, but I thought I had a relationship with sort of a somewhat prominent Twitch streamer. But in terms of my own reaction, I think it was probably a mix of me trying to show just how personal business can be. If you pour your heart, your blood, sweat, tears, your soul into a company, and you've done that, you know what it's like to start a company. It's really hard. Most companies fail. And I poured everything I have into Drug-Like over the last few months, and it's a successful site. The product works. It's a really great product. We tried really hard to make it work, and it's a huge engineering challenge, and we've risen to the occasion. And to sort of like have this like doubt cast on you from somebody we have enough haters from people I don't know, but from somebody that you to sort of like not be on your side, not just be on your side, but kind of like suggest that you're being dishonest or something like that in a situation where it's just clearly not the case. It's really just hurtful and difficult. Even this guy Muta, who has a big YouTube channel, he started off with the same question, and then he was willing to listen to me, delete his old YouTube, make a new YouTube where he agreed with me, and still be able to sort of preserve his authenticity and his content. And I think like the mark of somebody truly dumb or truly stupid or ignorant is somebody who's refuses to change their mind under new evidence. You know, we all as humans have a Bayesian problem, right? We see something, it's really hard to incorporate new information. That's sort of just difficult for people in general. But to have it turned up to the point where you just won't consider new information, or you won't sort of like react and like be like, well, yeah, no, it's clear this guy is right. Like and I was even willing to like reveal these really embarrassing details, like the video I clicked was called Big Tits Round Asses. Like, it was not easy for me to admit that. Like, it was, it would have been much better off, not admitting that, but I had to admit it if I wanted to be honest. And I think it was as honest as it gets. And Destiny's sort of mindset was like, well, that doesn't prove that you didn't hack yourself. And it's like, well, I can show you even more proof. And for Muta, it was enough. So anyway, it really bothered me. And it was just something that, like, I don't know, to the extent you want to call somebody on the internet your friend, like, I think, like, there's a certain way to act as a friend and there's a way to act as an enemy, and I think he acted like an enemy.
Okay. Also, just real quick, and then I'll leave because I know there's a huge amount of people. Do you think those questions... I think those questions are appropriate. I don't think Destiny was staking out a position necessarily, but I think he was just asking questions because... it did seem suspicious what happened, of course.
I think he backpedaled. I think he backpedaled pretty quickly.
Fair enough. But anyway, thank you for your time.
No problem. And I'm willing to sue anybody that is willing to state on the record that they think that I intentionally damaged my own company, because I know that I didn't. Yeah. And the nice thing about lawsuits is, as much as people don't like them, the nice thing about lawsuits is the truth comes out in the lawsuit. You get discovery.
Okay.
And through the discovery process, there's this ability to show documents and to show evidence. And I can, to prove defamation, you have to prove that, in fact, what he's saying is not true and that he is lying. So if I was Destiny, I wouldn't be willing to state that for a fact. I would be willing to backpedal and say, well, I'm not saying for sure, which is kind of what he started at. And now he's sort of backpedaled. And to me, that's very, like, chicken, I'll use a euphemism here, kind of chicken behavior. Oh, no, I'm just bringing, well, why is it interesting? The whole world brought up the possibility. You were sort of willing to say that that's what happened. And I'm willing to go after anybody because I know the truth. I clicked the stupid porn link and I ended up getting...
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I mean, you also went out the way to contact all the authorities and shit. And you also wrote like a 30-page document or something. So
yeah, we did a lot of work.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks for your time.
No, anytime.
Thank you, Data.
Cool. Thanks.
So one of the